right now there's two convoy groups. One of them is called Canadian Action, and the other one is called Convoy to Ottawa. And this article here is on the Convoy to Ottawa, and it says it's a convoy which is Western based, and it said the main precipitous for this is the oil and gas industry is hard hit by problems plaguing the energy industry, and there's some people back east supporting it. They have a GoFundMe, and they're angry about the failure to get past Trans Mountain Energy East pipeline expansions. They want the pipelines, it says. We're against the carbon tax and the erosion of Canadian sovereignty through the UN's Global Migration Pact. We're not in favor of the UN control of migration. We're not against illegal migration. And then it goes, some immigration experts say the UN Pact is not binding on Canadian policy. And then it goes on about zero tolerance for degrading comments about things like race, religion, cultural, sexual orientation, gender identity. There's no room for hate, and so forth and so on. That's the Convoy to Ottawa page. I'm just going to comment on that. They're focusing on the UN Migration Pact. I'm not sure how much these people know. For the Convoy to Ottawa, we asked them to get informed. This issue over migration, mass immigration, did not start with the UN Migration Pact, number one. So if you think everything is rooted in the UN Migration Pact, you are grossly misinformed or deceived. This has been going on since 1992, at least, when Mulroney signed Canada onto Agenda 21, which is complete global world order, pushing climate change and global control by these globalist elites and technocrats. And then you can jump to 2015 when Stephen Harper signed Canada onto Agenda 2030, which is the same global world order, and it's all this climate change agenda. It's about eliminating poverty everywhere. It's about global socialism, one government control, one world currency, all that, open borders, anti-nationalism, anti-sovereignty. And actually, the UN Migration Pact, which was passed this year in Canada, 2018, is aligned to Agenda 2030. So do your homework out there. If you think this is only the liberals, you are getting played. And that's our message. The left, right, liberal, conservative is just a globalist mechanism to control the Canadian electorate. It's just back and forth, and it's the same outcome. It doesn't matter who you put in. And I'm going to go out and say that the globalist conservatives in Ottawa, they're actually worse than the liberals. That's my opinion. They're both globalists, and that's bad enough. But the globalist conservatives are more deceptive and secretive in what they're doing, and therefore I believe they are the worst of the two. But we don't support the lesser or the evil. We want both of them gone. But do your homework. This has been going on. And another frustrating point from our standpoint is this emphasis on illegal migration, but forgetting about mass immigration. And if you listen to the globalist conservatives, all they talk about is illegal immigration, which is bad and something we oppose. But it is 1/10 of the total immigration coming into Canada. And if you look into Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, it's all about transforming our world. And what's happening in Canada? Canada is being transformed into a UN-like globalist village. And this is all part of this UN agenda, and it's happening. So don't get fooled. The mass immigration into Canada, which really started under Mulroney with sustained mass immigration. Harper had historic mass immigration, and then Trudeau's pretty much on the same level Harper or a bit more. But what's happening is the traditional populations Canada are being replaced. This is all organized and according to plan. On the trajectory, as the facts show, that by 2100, Euro-Canadians, Anglophone, Francophone, Europeans of other descent, including our First Nations, Inuit, Métis, will be less than 20% of the population. So if that concerns you, then we suggest you support NCA, because we want to end this mass immigration, and none of these globalist parties, controlled opposition, are against mass immigration. So we encourage you to wake up. And what mass immigration is doing, it's bringing excess people into our country. It's lowering wages. There's more unemployment. It's harder to get work. And that's the reality of it. And it's pushing more people onto government handouts, and it's votes for these establishment parties. It doesn't help the Canadian people. We want responsible, balanced immigration. So don't get fooled. That's all we say. Do not get fooled into this only focus on illegal migration. Look at the mass immigration. That is the main vehicle of Agenda 2030, the UN Migration Pact, and Agenda 21, which every level of government in Canada is behind. I'm going to shift to the other article now. This one is worse. I don't know where these people come from, but they're caught up in the old way of thinking. They're caught up in left, right, liberal, conservative, and this article shows it. So this is called Canada Action. This guy, Cody Battershill, I think he should get informed. It seems like he's reading too much of the mainstream media, but we share his concern with oil and gas. We're pro oil and gas. He says, quote, if they are Yellowvest, we will not be doing anything with them. I've made that clear to them. Wow. So he's totally against Yellowvest, this Canada Action. And then he said, for us, Yellowvest is from France. We are Canadian. We are focused on Canadian families. In France, they were rioting, and that's not Canada either. Wow. Wow, this Cody guy seems like all he does is watch the mainstream media, and he's believing the false narratives. Cody, wake up. You're being manipulated and into thinking that Yellowvest is all violent. You know, maybe look into the globalist side of Yellowvest. Maybe go to alternative media, because you sound, I'll be very honest, you sound very ignorant, and, we're encouraging you to wake up. And then this guy goes on, he said, very extreme opinions, and then it's something on immigration policy. Well, I'm sorry, Cody, if you think National Citizens Alliance responsible, balanced immigration is extreme. We don't think it's extreme. We think it's common sense. So we encourage you to get outside of your left, right, liberal, conservative, narrow way of thinking. That old entrenched way of thinking is the problem, Cody. So, maybe look over our policies, the facts, and get informed. It's ridiculous. And then he says here, and then it goes on, it's not accurate to say those opinions are held by all people who identify as Yellowvest, but people, I think, just always need to remain positive, inclusive, nonpartisan. Wow, you sound very politically correct. The word inclusive is in the UN Migration Pact. It's also in Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030. That is the foundation of everything that Canada Action has been around since 2010. I guess you support the inclusive societies of Agenda 2030, Cody. Come on, wake up. You sound like a globalist. Oh, he says here, if people traveling with Canada Action want to wear something symbolic, Cody recommended to wear a hard hat, wear your work overalls. Please leave your yellow vest at home. Wow, look at the division in our country. This guy, Cody, sounds like a globalist. Come on, Cody, wake up. Get the facts. Harper signed Canada onto Agenda 2030. That is completely anti-energy industry. Wake up, that is a fact. Mulroney signed Canada onto Agenda 21. That is completely anti-energy industry. What more do you need to know? The mass immigration is taking jobs away from people in Alberta and Saskatchewan. Come on, wake up. And then he says, we decided to do the convoy to Ottawa to ensure that when Parliament is back in session, we can continue to talk about Trans Mountain Energy East approval, Bill C-69, stop Bill C-48. Okay, Cody. The globalist conservatives had a 4-year majority. They could have easily passed Trans Mountain Energy East with a majority. They didn't, Cody. Come on, wake up. And you're going to go to Parliament, which is full of globalists who are supporting Agenda 2030, Agenda 21. You think you're going to get a positive outcome? Use your brain. And then he says, they're going to depart and they're getting GoFundMe. So this is the problems we're facing. But they're crazy, this Canada Action, if they think they're going to get these globalist politicians to get fully behind Trans Mountain Energy's pipelines. Look up Agenda 2030. We got a good video on it. It's all about climate change, sustainable energy, Cody. Look up Agenda 21. You gotta look this up. You're living in the past. You're living in the liberal, conservative, left, right dichotomies. They're just all about control, Cody, and they're all about control. So just wake up. But it is what it is. We're only supporting Yellowvest, the anti-globalist, anti-UN version, but everyone else is free to do what they want. Obviously, we don't support Canada's action anti-Yellowvest agenda, and we disagree with a lot of their way they're thinking. It's all old mentality, and it's not going to lead to anything. Obviously, we support Convoy to Ottawa, and we wish them the best with that. At least they're supporting the Yellowvest movement. That's all we can say. And I'm not gonna go on any further on this, but I hope this is helpful. And we're gonna keep plugging away NCA, and we will continue our support for the Yellowvest, anti-globalist, anti-UN. But I hope tonight you have a better understanding of the division in our country. We're not going to attach to it. We can't control what other people do. We can try and influence them like we're doing tonight, but that's all we can do. Everyone has to make up their own mind. And, at the end of the day, we ask if you support the NCA and our anti-globalist, pro-Canadian agenda, then get behind the party, get behind me, and share our message, donate to the party, run in 2019, etc., etc. And please share our event this coming Saturday at 11 a.m. in Lloydminster. And I want to thank you for joining me tonight.